Hobbs Hob, and this is Church of Hob. So I realized a little too late that I had maybe done a disservice on my Space Engineers live stream Survival World, and I think I'm going to go back and revisit that. And the disservice that I had done was by not recording everything. I would have breaks in between where I was still playing, and the reason was is I was trying to keep the videos from being too long. For uploading to YouTube and for real watchability, because to be perfectly honest, sometimes it's got to get really boring watching me just weld stuff together and dig holes in asteroids. But looking back on it, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to revisit the whole process. I'm going to switch to a 45-minute interval with scheduled breaks, so that my 3-hour gaming session or 3.5-hour session it can actually result in some shorter videos which can be posted to YouTube in conjunction with the live stream itself. And those breaks will actually be set up in such a way so that we can kind of easily transition from one video to the next without losing any real continuity in what's going on. That being the case, I do intend to start a new survival world, and we'll build literally from start to finish. You'll get to see the whole thing, and kind of see what my processes are and how I kind of go about doing survival, and how I bungle around in it quite thoroughly. So that being the case, I'm actually working on loading up my Space Engineers Creative, and I'm streaming from my laptop, so I'm not on my desktop, and the laptop's a little choppier. But I wanted to do some prototyping for a gravity-based mining collector, and I've seen a few of these that actually do some really interesting things. One of which is one that actually creates kind of a vortex, so everything collects into a single collector. And I'm going to actually load that up and take a look at it and see if I can't figure out how it works, and see if maybe I can adapt it to something that's usable in my creative, or not in my creative, in my survival world. So I'm waiting for the world to load right now, and once it gets loaded up, we'll get going. So this is taking a bit longer than I expected it to load. I'm not sure how well the laptop is going to stream Space Engineers, being that it's pretty heavily graphics intensive. It does pretty good when I run Diablo 3, but I don't know. If it does all right, we'll go ahead and continue with my previous plan. If not, we might have to revisit the creative mode in another broadcast. One of the things that I really like about Space Engineers and Minecraft too, is the opportunity to really play with mechanics. And when I play Minecraft, I have a tendency to try and build every redstone contraption under the sun that isn't a computer processor or a graphing calculator. Most of the time I'm looking at just building crazy bridges and doors and secret hideouts and traps and silly stuff like that. And a lot of people think that's pretty amazing, and a lot of times I'm following along with things that other people have done, or trying to improve on things that other people have done, and sometimes I'm successful and sometimes I'm not. With Space Engineers, it's been a little bit more freeform, and I don't think I've gotten the designing of a spaceship process down as well as maybe some other people have, and I kind of beat my head against the wall when I build these clunky cube creations, but every once in a while I get one that comes out really sweet. And I'm hoping that by playing in survival and doing my prototyping in creative like I have been, for survival builds, specifically for survival builds, maybe the process will become a little more elegant, and I'll be able to show you guys some really cool ideas. So it looks like we did get loaded up. Bear with me here. It looks like I might have been actually working on a prototype for a welding ship in this world. So I'm going to get switched over here, and I'm going to see where we're at. What do we got? Oh, you know what? I think I was trying to rebuild my welding and construction vessels because I never uploaded them to Steam, which is something I actually really want to do. So as you can see, there's just kind of a mishmash of garbage in here, and a lot of times I end up deleting it afterwards, if I really don't like the design. This happy little floating nothingness, I was actually trying to duplicate a design that was by Last Stand Gamers for a self-aligning probe. And the problem that I had is I could not figure out for the life of me how to stick a large rotor onto a small ship. Still can't figure it out, and I've asked a couple of people, and I don't know. And maybe you guys can tell me, because I'd really love to know how to get a small rotor on here so that I can actually maybe finish out the physical design, and then start working on trying to figure out how he actually created the rotor, or the rotational process for self-alignment, and how he set it up so that the probe would actually go out and stop at a certain distance. I mean, I assume that there were timers involved, because it was prior to programmable blocks. Maybe it was just an orientation thing and a remote control. I really don't know. So it's something, if any of you know how I can connect a large rotor up to a small rotor reliably, please leave me a comment and with instructions or a link to a video, anything. I would be more than happy to check it out. So this beast over here, this is kind of a travesty of mining. I was playing around with the DK Earthbreaker drills and just seeing what I could do with them, and So I stuck them on the front of a mole, one of the Mole Mark IIs, and yeah, it's a little ridiculous. And then I was playing around with the graphene armor to kind of toughen the whole thing up, and it was me goofing off. If you guys want to see, this is actually the Mole Mark One. This was the first one that I built and constructed, and I didn't feel like it had. I didn't feel like it, one, had enough power, and two, the tunnels that it dug were not shaped well, and it would constantly run into the walls, banging itself up and breaking stuff and getting all out of whack. Which is then why I switched around to building to this design, which has more power. Obviously, it's got a much better thrust control. It's got more gyroscopes on it. It's got a better profile, I think. It's also got the 4 drills that are stacked, which creates a very nice square tunnel, even with the tool jitter turned on, which, to be honest, I turn off most of the time because it really aggravates my eyes watching that thing bounce around all over the place. This was sort of the beginnings of modular carrier that was hopefully going to be carrying the Mole 2, but I think I'm going to revisit that as a sleeker modular carrier instead of the beast that it was going to turn out to be, building it this way. And I'm thinking that I'll actually slim the profile down pretty significantly. And I had thought about making it a refinery ship, and that might be something that I do, where it's actually a pod that attaches to a refinery ship. Excuse me, pardon me, I have a cold, or the tail end of a cold, and so I'm really kind of hoping that will go away soon. I'll try not to cough at you guys too much. So let's get out here a little ways. And I'm going to go way out here. I'm going to go sit over one of these asteroids to do this. Since the ship that I'm actually looking at wanting to find out how it works is specifically for mining, I'm going to go park over one of these large asteroids out here and play with it a little bit, see what it does exactly. So I think this one will do. It's kind of a funky little guy. Yeah, so let's park. Let's go up like this. We're going to go right over here, and we're going to generate the ship. While we wait for Steam to load. I don't know if I've gone over this before, but I have a tendency when I find stuff in exploration, if I go out hunting for stuff, I will actually blueprint it and save it so that I can look at the designs later and see how they're built and play around with them and hopefully learn something useful from them. This is a disgustingly chunky design of my own, this relay station. It's really ugly, so I'm not going to show you that. This was my scout sled. So all this was literally an engine platform with a reactor and antenna on it, and a pilot seat, so that I could travel around fairly quickly to locate ships. And it was something that the idea was it was supposed to be cheap to build, but it's not very, very useful as far as a survival type situation goes, and that's something that I'm hoping to be able to do, is to do something kind of like this, where it's maybe a highly maneuverable small ship for as a landing craft, so that we can go in and kite ships, NPC spawn ships, so that we can kite them till they run out of ammo, and then just bag and tag them, basically. And so let's see here. Harpy from Star Conflict. Really beautiful ship. I apparently don't have all the mods for it though, so. Ah, here we go. So it's the Tick Ore Scow and Mite Mining Drone. And this is by WMFA. And it's multi-use ore collector designed to park with a scoop against the asteroid, enabling gravity well to pull in ore excavated by the smaller mine. Which is a fantastic idea, and I really want to play with that. So that's what we're gonna do. Let's get her pasted in. Right. So let's take a look at the ship itself first. Looks like we've got a drone for the actual digging, and it's got 3 drills, medium cargo container it looks like, battery and camera there. So it looks kind of like it's oh nope, there's a camera there too. It looks like maybe it's kind of intended to drag along, I thought, but it's got cameras in a couple of different spots on it. Where else? So it looks like maybe a forward-facing and a down-facing camera based on the orientation of the drills. Of course, it can park and connect. But, alright, so now that we've looked at that, let's take a look at the larger ship. So it looks like this is 2 large containers, maybe, hooked up. It looks like the whole thing's conveyored. We've got a cockpit up front here. It looks pretty streamlined. We've got a door. Alright, so let's go around the back. This looks like it's the collector plate, or the collector section. And that's got gravity generators, of course. Alright, so gravity generators, collector. Looks like there's a window down here, and maybe there's a camera behind that. Can't really tell though. Oh yeah, there's definitely a camera back there. You can see it if you get on there at an angle. The whole thing looks pretty simple, so let's go inside and take a look at the mechanisms. Mechanisms, that's a fun word. Okay, so no parking. Gravity's wonky. Looks like we've got a gyroscope in there, and we've got a command seat. So let's jump in the command seat. And let's go look at our inventory. More specifically, the control panel. See how this bad boy's built. So 4 stabilizers. I'm going to guess that those are the 4 gravity generators on the back of the cone. Let's see, and then we've got 2 large cargo containers. Looks like one of them's on a separate system. I wonder if they actually used a merge block to build. I wonder if they used merge blocks to put the whole thing together. Let's hop out of here. Let's go back outside and take a closer look at this. See if maybe we can see how they put this bad boy together. without tearing it apart first. You know, I can't tell. Alright, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna grab this here block. That totally didn't work. Alright, hang on a sec here. There we go. Let's chop some of that bad boy off of here. Do we actually have? So we've got gravity generator. I'm just going to kind of sort of gut this thing real quick. You know, it looks like it may be just a single large cargo container on top there, which isn't a terrible thing. Ain't bad looking. It's a pretty slick construction. Alright, so let's get this out of here. Alright, so... oh, that's not what I wanted. And let's go ahead and... oh. Alright, that should be all the components. Let's go ahead and put it back down, and we'll actually go park this thing on the asteroid and see how it performs. Excuse me. And with that smaller ship attached, with the small drone attached, I have a feeling we're going to have some maneuverability problems. So I'm going to try and just go a little distance, not too far. Try and get right over that large deposit over here. Oh hey, there's where that camera's at. That's actually pretty handy. I am not sure. here. Okay. Interesting. So let's try this again. Control. You know, I don't think I don't think there's an antenna on that tick. So, hang on a sec. Let's go take a look. And truly, there is not. Let's fix that so that we can actually drive this thing. Apparently I don't have one in the inventory. So, let's grab this. Excuse me. There's the antenna. Get a little bit of that GSA orange on there. Does that thing have gyros? It's got a gyro. Okay. Alright, let's try this again. Let's max that. Let's go. So, oh, you know what? Control panel. Let's do one other thing. Let's transfer ownership on this whole bad boy. Make it all mine, all mine, all mine. Looks like we lost the secondary part. This is problematic. Control panel. Come here, you. Alright, did transfer in. Alright, that's good. Just have it. Let me guess. No antenna on here. Got it. Alright, so we're gonna use... I found this mod that I really like, and it is the compact antenna. And it's a large ship or station antenna, and you gotta love it because it's not quite as unwieldy as the other antenna in my book. Alright, so now that we've got antennas on both ships, we shall try once more. And I really have got to stop trying to land on this thing. It sucks. The gravity in here is just a disaster. Excuse me. Alright. Hey, what do you know? Now we can actually grab some stuff. So, PK, let's grab control. Control. And then we're going to go in here. Small ship. And we're going to call this the mic. So that I can identify it. And we're going to go P and K. And let's see where camera 3 is. That is down there. See how we're oriented. Okay. So this looks like it is forward camera. And this looks like it is a drill / down camera. So that we can identify T and G, and let's get see other camera on here. Oh, I see what happened. This thing is just endeavoring to be a giant pain in the butt. Let's control that. G. There we go. So we're going to put the... No, Q. Q. I'll put the forward camera on 3. And the down camera here on 4. And do we have any groups? No. So we get into E. Right here. And C. G. Groups. Drills right there. I'm going to set those toggle on and off. And now we're going to go for 3. Yes. Beautiful. And away we go. Alright, so now that we're in position, we're going to switch to the down camera, kick those drills on. We're just going to start digging. Now if you look, hopefully what we see happening here is all of the ore is actually being pulled into that center cone. And all of the free-floating ore, I should say, is getting pulled into that central cone. And it does look like that's exactly what's happening. So as the ore flies into that area, it is filling up or going into the connector. Excuse me again. It doesn't look like it's moving into. Oh, that's right, we're in creative, so it's not going to move anywhere after that. Normally, if we were in survival, of course, it would all migrate to the large container, but we're not going to worry about that. So, say that's pretty successfully tested. Now I think that's just going to be a matter of reverse engineering that, but I'm going to leave that for another time. That's all I really wanted to do today, was kind of take a look at this and get an idea of what the design was supposed to do. And so my next step is going to be to turn off these drills so that they'll quit being annoying. My next step after this is going to be to actually load this up on my desktop and start looking at the design itself, how it's constructed, what the settings on the gravity generators are, if there's anything that I can do to improve on the design and maybe bring it more in keeping with the GSA style of design that I've created, and maybe refine it a little bit. Obviously, it's in need of a couple of bits of tweaking. You know, it needs antennas on both of the ships. Otherwise, I think it's a great design, and it should be a lot of fun to play with and try and work out the mechanics of. So that's it for me today. I'm going to go ahead and switch this back out. And I'm going to wish you guys a wonderful morning, and we will see you next time.